when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. Build a seed with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. Build a seed with the negativity.
Hello, one and all. This is your boy, William D. Morgan here, and this is the Sports Report Podcast. I got a cast of thousands with me tonight. Going to talk about the NFL season. Got a lot to talk about. Oh, week one was just crazy. Let me go ahead and start bringing my people in. First, let me bring in the only man that calls the Carolina Panthers, North Carolina. Bring in Josie. Josie, what's up?
They are. They are. Both teams root for that team. Both states root for that team. Tell me not. Tell me not. Don't have.
I had to get
They're
you.
a North Carolina team. They play in North Carolina.
I had to get you. Particularly for that stuff that you and Seven was talking about. Y'all were egregious. I've been talking about something you ain't know Jordan Love was black. Come on now.
You know I don't follow many teams that close other than the Texans, bro. You know that.
Oh my gosh. I was floored. That was so damn funny. Let me bring my man Seven, my brother Seven on in here. Seven, what's up, man?
Man, if you're gonna throw me under a bus, can it at least be Cardi B so I can see some booty on the way down? Like that's all I ask. Look, the last picture of a backup QB for the Green Bay Packers that I saw was a scrawny white dude that looked like Zach Wilson, but a little less like Ellen DeGeneres. Okay. So when I saw that picture you posted today of a light-skinned black kid, I was like, oh, I didn't know Wisconsin had any of those, but okay. Like, look, I'm also proud. I'm glad that Jordan Love did well. And I know we're going to talk about when we get to the NFL. I'm happy for Jordan Love because as of right now, based on what has happened in the last 2 hours, Green Bay fans are going to be taking a big sigh of fucking relief moving forward.
Yes. And we have a guest with us tonight, everybody. He is my man, Ando. Ando, what's up? Will not let us go to Ando? There you go.
There he is.
I'm sorry. Are we live? Yes. Well, this just in. Aaron Rodgers regrets every decision he made over the last 6 months. It says here he just fell down and regrets every New York decision. He will not be playing the rest of the night.
Man,
oh, my goodness.
I hope for his sake, he's like, I would legitimately feel bad for that dude if he blew his Achilles on his fourth play.
Right.
Like, if that's literally because, and if you look at it, like outside of what's going on with that ankle, it doesn't look like a bad tackle or anything. It doesn't look like anybody was trying to hurt Aaron.
No.
He just dropped.
The best angle that I saw on a replay on a clip from Facebook is it looks like his ankle kind of did this. X-rays showed negative. MRIs are going to be done tomorrow morning to find out how severe the damage is. But yeah, I mean, it would just, man, it would suck, dude.
It's his Achilles. If his Achilles is torn, his career is over.
Yep.
He done.
Especially at 39 years old.
Yeah.
If his Achilles is torn. Now, a younger quarterback is out for the rest of the season, come back to the next year, ready to go.
Yep.
A 39-year-old man.
Yep.
That's tough.
Yep.
That's tough.
Who goes to South America to see his family. Or his ancestors. Sorry, I use the appropriate term. I mean, nutrition-wise, I'm sure he doesn't screw around. I'm sure he takes care of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's just too much.
Tough.
Yeah. Dude, it's unfortunate.
It's not reasonable to expect him to come back from that.
No, that's tough.
And I hope for his sake it doesn't, because that would just suck. And for the Jets fans out there, man, we feel bad for you guys. This is fucking.
Absolutely. It's just a bad time to be a New York football fan after, this weekend.
This is the worst thing with Jets to happen to New York since Vinny Testaverde in '99.
Yep.
Oh, he don't
Well,
go back.
you got to remember Chad Pennington. 2003 Chad Pennington tore a muscle and he was out for
he was out for a while.
So,
but that's the thing. This and I felt, and that was crazy. Like I remember that because that was my that was my sophomore year of high school. And Cameron High School, class 2006. Fuck that school. Anyway, I was sophomore in high school. I remember that because one of my teachers was a Jets fan, and he was pissed.
Yeah.
But 4 plays in, he went 0 for 1. Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers blew his Achilles.
Yeah.
4 plays. One pass that was incomplete.
Yeah.
Yep.
And his career as a New York Jet is over.
More than likely, yeah. That's tough to come back from. All right, let's go ahead and get into the week that is football. And the game I want to start with the most is the first game of the season. We had the Detroit Lions defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 21-20. Now I got
where's my weed?
Now I got
I can't talk about this. I need to find my weed. Where's my weed?
Now I got two.
Just don't drop it, all right? Don't drop the weed.
No,
don't drop the weed.
Don't drop it, okay? Don't drop it.
You never say that. That's jinxing. Never
now
say
we
that.
have
our game's already over and we dropped that too. So just hold on to it. Hold on.
I'm not giving Kadarius Toney the rolling tray. Like that's not gonna happen. I don't even trust him to take it on a handoff right now.
Now we have 2 Chief fans right down here, so I'm gonna start with our guest first to get his opinions, what he thought, and then we'll roll over to 7. And what was your opinions of that game?
So first things first, I was there. Atmosphere was absolutely crazy. Dropping of the banner was absolutely amazing for it being my first Chiefs game. The only thing that I would change is the victory, change the defeat to a victory. That being said,
Wait, that was your first game in Arrowhead?
first game ever at Arrowhead. I went to a game in
Bro.
Seattle in 2007. So for me, just the atmosphere and the Detroit Lion fans that I interacted with, for the most part, were really kind of cool, calm, collective.
Pretty good
Congratulated us when we made good plays. We're very kind of, oh man, that was really close. See what happened
Most outsider fans are.
Yeah,
Most.
there were a couple sitting in our section who were very rude and rambunctious, so I'm just gonna ignore them. But no, I mean,
There's always a couple.
yeah, from the fan
people, yeah.
from the fan watching the game without Chris Jones, without Travis Kelce. Yes, the drops killed us, but again, this is the first time that our first team has been on the field for an extensive period of time, and it's all about getting that timing down correctly between Mahomes and his receivers. So that will fix itself, hopefully in time. That will fix itself. And I said that Kelce was more important than Chris Jones was. Chris Jones did sign his extension today earlier. So we'll be getting Chris Jones back. That being said, I don't think Chris Jones was as necessary as Travis was, because our defense held Detroit to 2 offensive touchdowns. The third one being interception return for a touchdown that shouldn't have happened if Kadarius could have just held on to that ball, man. Hold on to the ball, Kadarius. But I thought we played really solid football, man. Obviously, it's the first week of NFL. You're going to be seeing a lot of those mistakes. But at Kansas City, Andy Reid especially is really good at picking up on those mistakes and getting those fixed. The only downside is we play a really tough Jacksonville team next week. So good thing we got an extra 3 days because Jacksonville looks really solid this year.
On a cloudy day.
Ando, I'm gonna echo what you said. Just and like, because obviously I watched the game at home. I'm in Arizona. I didn't get a chance to go to Arrowhead. Here's my observation. First of all, Kansas City's D is fucking stacked without Chris Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fucking stacked, because there are a lot of people that are going to downplay this game because of the Lions and the Lions at the record that the Lions have had in the past. Yeah. This is not the Lions of the past.
Absolutely
not. As a Chiefs fan, that was a damn good team that we faced. First of all,
and we only lost by 1 point. We only lost by 1 point. Second of all, Aiden Hutchinson is an absolute bona fide fucking beast. Yep. If I buy me a Lions jersey this year, it's going to be an Aiden Hutchinson jersey. That kid is fucking special. And that guy that got the interception for the return for a touchdown, Brian Branch, he's going to be a stud too. He'll be a stud for a couple years to come.
And here's the thing. Brian Branch was all over it. I'm sure you saw it. Mm-hmm. Brian Branch was all over Kadarius Toney all day. Yep. Some of those drops... There were some of those drops. The reason why Kadarius Toney was off timing was because of Branch. Yeah. That was who Branch was supposed to carry. My theory is that their game plan involved taking Kadarius Toney out of the game.
Yep.
Because I bet for Kadarius Toney to get a touchdown, and God hates me. Yeah. So their game plan was to take Kadarius Toney out of the game. And it worked. It worked. Respect. Like, you game plan. I thought that our defense looked fucking stellar.
Absolutely.
You add in Chris Jones, and we're going to keep him to 1 touchdown instead of 2.
Yep.
On our offense, that right guard that we got from Dallas.
Yep.
I'm going to tape his fucking feet to the ground.
Yep.
If I have to run out between every play and drive a goddamn nail through his shoe and say, "Look, fucker, you aren't moving until you're supposed to."
You're talking about the right tackle that should have been called for like 3 or 4 full starts.
A lot more than that, dude. It was ridiculous. Nope. They were talking about it on TV. It was ridiculous. There was and that was one of the things that pissed me off most about this game, was the officiating of this game, because there were too many non-calls. Yes, some of those went to the Chiefs. More of those went to the Chiefs' favor than Detroit. Detroit ended up winning. But the truth of the matter is, there were egregious non-calls in that game that should not have happened. Yeah. And there is not going to be any accountability from the NFL on these referees for these fucking problems. There is no reason the times that he was jumping off sides, he should not have been caught. That line judge should have seen it and should have called it. Yeah. There were multiple non-calls on blatant holds that should have been called.
Yeah, and
that's the same player. And that's the same player. And this is me on my own team calling this out. It frustrates me because the NFL is not going to do anything about it. We just want clean games as fans. We understand that the human element exists in officiating.
Yeah. But again, I mean,
those are fucking blatant.
Again, it's the first week of the season, so the refs are getting into their rhythm as well. I don't necessarily blame or tell the refs that it's their fault that they lost the game, because there were missed calls on both sides. There were missed calls on both sides. And with a game that close, you can't say, "Oh, a referee call here ruined the game."
No. And that's not what I'm not saying that at all.
But no, what I was going to say
was a problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What I was going to say was the referees did not make or break that game in any way, shape, or form. With the game being that close, every decision that was made was a make or break decision. And I like those kind of games. Granted, they do suck, especially in our case with losing, because you could have been like, hey, one drop here, that's a catch. This referee makes that call. This is the first down. That drive keeps going. So for me as a fan, is it frustrating? I'm glad it wasn't like a Super Bowl or a playoff game that caused us to lose. Yeah. But I think it's something the NFL will look into. It's always the first couple weeks are always the hardest on the refs because, again, it's also timing with them and figuring out what they got to call. But we'll see that, I think, get fixed during the course of the season. Obviously,
the thing that I will say is, on a normal basis, 1 to 2 drops should not destroy a team's chance of winning a game. In a normal game, that is not the case. Just like a bad call from a ref should not cost a team a game.
Yeah.
In normal cases. In this case, on Thursday, the issues with Kadarius Toney dropping passes.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just Kadarius, because Sky, I know, dropped a couple too.
And I'm not saying that Kadarius should be cut or Sky should be cut or any of that. What I'm saying is there were. It's not just that they were drops. There were drops that happened at really bad times.
Yeah.
If Kadarius Toney catches that pass that turned into a pick six, it's a touchdown.
Yep.
If Sky Moore catches one of those passes,
that's a 14-point swing. That's a 14-point swing if you think about it, because it keeps the 7 points off the board for Detroit, which now makes it 20-14. But now you get the 7 points if we score a touchdown, and even 3 points makes it a 14-23 game. It still makes it a two-score game that Detroit has to make it from.
You're 100% correct in that, and I think that's the part that frustrates me most of all. Is it's not the drops, it's the bad timing, and
it's the timing of the drops that were the worst.
I also want to say, I think that all of the people that have fucking dumped on Kadarius Toney this week, you're not a fucking Chiefs fan. No. Just be thankful that your bad days at work aren't on national fucking television.
Yeah.
And go fuck yourself. Because he didn't get most of camp because he was fucking injured. Yeah. Like, it could have been a lot worse. We're not Astros fans. It could be a lot worse.
Oh! No, I mean, I absolutely agree. It's a sport. It's a game. Relax. You shouldn't make or break your week that your team lost. If your team lost, no. Okay.
And speaking of teams, I'm gonna switch around here a little bit. The Baltimore Ravens defeat the Houston Texans 25-9. And Josie, what do you think?
All right. So this doesn't surprise me. Baltimore is a hell of a place to start your season. That is a hell of a stadium to play in. There was no doubt in my mind Lamar wasn't winning this game. He needed to win this game. What I do want to bring up is I saw a lot of positives on that field. CJ, for the most part, looked good.
He didn't throw a turnover. He didn't throw an interception.
28 for 44, 42 yards.
He did. I mean, he was like 22 for 44 or something like
28 for 44.
Yeah. That's still better than 50%.
Yeah. But 242 yards.
That brand new offensive line, 3 of those key guys were out, and then we lost 2 during the game. So we've got to figure out that offensive line. What I really wanted to hit on is I saw a lot of positives in that loss, and I think that it was clicking more. I think the first 4th and 1 that D'Amico went for wasn't smart. The second one I understood. The first one, it was first quarter. It was only 8 minutes into the first quarter or something like that.
Let's not forget that Dan Campbell went for it on 4th and 2 with the fake punt, and he got it.
And got it deep in their own territory, and that had a swing in the game too. So we're going to see that a lot more aggressively.
Yeah, that could be D'Amico's that could be D'Amico's MO is he's going to be the aggressive coach. So
he
it
definitely yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. You saw that yesterday. I was just talking to my brother who, yes, they were much more aggressive on both sides of the ball. What I did like, what impressed me a lot, that defense looked good. 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. The defense looked better than I've seen our defense look in a very long time. So I was very impressed with that. You also have to remember on the offensive side, that was also a rookie play caller, his first play calling.
Mhm.
What I wanted to talk about big was the opposite from what I'm hearing of the Kansas City game. There were so many penalties called in this game on both sides. So I was just looking at it. The Texans had 9 penalties for 88 yards. The Ravens had 13 for 106.
Good God.
Yeah.
Were they calling, like, because I didn't watch that game. I just saw the highlights. Was it chippy? Like, what were they calling? Was this chippy shit?
It
Like,
was everything they called was pretty legitimate. It was a bunch of false starts. The things you expect first week with a bunch of rookies and
so it was time. Everybody had timing issues. Is really what it was.
illegal. You got a lot of illegal man on the field, and things like that. A couple of
you can work those issues out.
There was a hit the kicker and a roughing the passer.
I just want to say real quick too about this game. Real quick, shout out to J.K. Dobbins.
Jesus, dude, that guy can't catch a break, man.
Can't catch a break, man.
Cannot catch a break. That dude's been hurt. What, the last 3 years he's had some form of season-ending injury.
They were talking. Well, you know what? They were talking about it too during the game. How this is the first time he's come into the season healthy and ready to go. And literally, they said that, and he got hurt 5 minutes later.
Yeah,
God damn.
Because it was into the second quarter that he got hurt. Yeah, dude.
I feel.
You hate to see that, man.
Agreed.
He's a good football player.
Yeah,
just can't catch a break.
Yeah, I wanted to jump on to Josie real quick because I have the Lions and Chiefs stats pulled up. You're absolutely right. Because how many penalties did the Texans have in that game alone? Because I know you said the Ravens had 13.
9 for 88.
Between the two teams in Kansas City, there were 7 penalties for 88 yards. Is all there was throughout the entire game.
Yeah. They kept the flag in the pocket. I know, so it's kind of the opposite.
I know two of the penalties came on the Chiefs' final drive because they had a 4th and 25, and I know Mahomes didn't take a sack, so it was like a 10-yard holding penalty and then a 5-yard full start. So,
on the other side, real quick, Will, I'll be real fast. I just wanted to hit on the other side of the ball. Ravens look good. Lamar looked good. I mean, this is kind of, and I think they're going to get better as this season goes on. They're going to get, I think a lot of what we're going to talk about as we break down all of these games is there was a lot of knocking that first game off. Like you saw, I feel like you saw more rust as in the NFL as a whole than you've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Yep. Yo, what up, Rob?
Now,
and I want to say real quick for the Texans, shout out to Nico Collins. You know, he played a decent game.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nico. He played a decent game.
Nico,
6 catches, 80 yards.
I also want to give a shout out to Tank Dell. Tank Dell looked good. And Will Anderson looked good. He wasn't a real factor in the beginning, but the last quarter and stuff, he was getting involved. And I'm
had a sack and a tackle for loss.
What did you want to say, Seven?
Well, what I was going to say was when you look at, when you look at Lamar's numbers, like Houston, like the Ravens won 25-9, which that's what a 14, 15, 16 point difference.
Houston didn't capitalize on a lot of their.
But remember, the Ravens did not have Mark Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
So and back this week from what I'm hearing.
I'm hearing next week too.
Lamar did throw 1 pick, but ultimately he was 17 of 22 for 169 yards. Average of 7.7 yards a pass. He was just efficient. And that's what you need to see out of Lamar Jackson. He had 6 runs for 38 yards as well. you probably want to see you want to see at least 300 yards out of your starting quarterback, even when they're a running quarterback. If they're getting some of that on the ground, that's fine, but you want to see at least 3. At least I would think so. I think hopefully we start to see Lamar get moving, but obviously he was out injured last year, and then he and his mom couldn't decide on a contract. So there's going to be some things that, again, knocking the rust off.
Right.
But it's not bad.
So I will say I was actually mildly impressed with Lamar. I don't think he overpushed anything. Yes, he did have the 1 interception. But otherwise, I felt like he played an efficient game. If I'm the offensive coordinator looking at that, 6 runs is kind of less than what Lamar normally runs. But from what I saw in the highlights, it wasn't like a Lamar's going to take off first. He's actually sitting in the pocket, getting his reads down, and then if he's forced to run, he'll take off. Which, because Lamar is that kind of option quarterback where he can take off if he needs to, I think Lamar's trying to mold himself more into that. Stay in the pocket, throw if I can, but if I got to run, I got to run. And that will not only make him last longer, which is what the Ravens want him to do, but it also leaves that elusiveness to, if I got to run, you still got to either put a spy on me at all times, or I'm going to take advantage once you hit me with zone and people go down the field and I can get those first downs.
And see, you were right on the money there, because that's the Lamar of old. That's who he used to be, is he would always look for the pass first to run second. And in the past couple of years, he hasn't been able to pull that off because he hasn't had all the weapons. He's had to rely on his feet more. But the more he can stay in the pocket and then run if needed, the better off he will be. And that's what makes a good pass and running QB.
Yeah.
One of the biggest differences is going to be this year the weapons that Lamar has. We've talked on this show for a couple of years now about one of the issues that you have in Baltimore is that Lamar has not had the weapons that he needed. You look at you look at yesterday when the Texans were playing it was Mark Andrews and that was it. But if you look at yesterday, like on the ground game alone, you had
Justice Hill had
3
2
different
touchdowns at the goal line. Zay Flowers came out big.
Yep.
Super rookie.
Zay Flowers was huge.
That's a bad man.
Pissing me off.
Yep.
So
and then Odell played an efficient game too, coming back from the injury
Not
that he
until
had.
the third and fourth quarter, but he got involved.
So can you imagine when Mark Andrews comes back?
Yeah.
He now has weapons.
There's no excuses now.
I'm glad we got them out of the way.
One game I will talk about, if I can jump on you, Will. How about that Jacksonville team?
Oh, I love Jacksonville.
Yeah, Sunshine and Jacksonville won 31-21. So I'll talk about Jacksonville first. The fumble that Trevor Lawrence had that Bigsby put on the ground, that's a once-in-a-lifetime play. I don't blame anybody. The referees, I think, should have called the play. But that resulted in a freak touchdown for the Colts. Otherwise, Trevor played absolutely efficient. I think the running game is good to go. I think we all can agree that Calvin Ridley's back. He played absolutely amazing. 8 receptions for 101 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Travis Etienne picked up where he left off at the end of the season. That catch by Zay Jones in the second quarter was an absolute nightmare of a catch. Could not play that any better on defense. But I think more importantly, I think the Colts showed that Anthony Richardson was the right pick at 4. And as long as he can cool his jets and not take off at the first sign of trouble, he will be their quarterback to play for a long time.
He's got to calm down in the pocket.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. You got to remember, it's his first game, and he's playing up against, I think, one of the better defenses in the AFC. Not just the AFC South, but one of the better defenses in the AFC. And this is a guy who's still learning a new offense with a new head coach and B, a new offensive coordinator. So all of that lingo and terminology is probably still fairly new to him. But no, I think with time, I think he will be the team, not the Titans and not the Texans. I think the Colts will be the first team to rival this Jaguars team for the division in the first couple of years.
Well, you got to give you got to look at the fact that they didn't have Jonathan Taylor. Who hopefully they'll fix that issue.
If they have him at all, rumor has it that he's going through a physical right now and could be going to Miami by the end of the week.
I wouldn't be mad about that. I wouldn't be mad about that.
No,
but
the problem is
no, fuck that. Miami has enough fucking weapons.
Yeah.
Why don't they actually get Tua?
No,
fucking protection.
I'm telling you,
Get him some fucking protection.
If
Seven,
Tua
don't do
can
it. I know what you were
stay,
about to say.
if Tua can stay healthy, Miami is going to be a fucking beast this year. Fully believe that.
Yeah.
However, I did
enough
want to say
fucking weapons.
I wanted to say really quick on Anthony Richards. I think for the 4 rookie QBs, the top 4 that got drafted, he had the best opening.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
24 47, threw for 223, had a touchdown and an interception. He also did run the ball only 10 times. So as like a sprinting quarterback, 10 is a fairly low number. But yeah, he had a touchdown on the ground and had a touchdown through the air. So.
He's the ultimate boom or bust play.
Yep.
Here's the thing with Anthony Richards. What you've got to do, I'm sorry, Anthony Richardson. What you've got to do is you've got to you can't go with the same level of a playbook that you can go to Justin Herbert or Josh Allen.
Got to dumb it down.
You've got to and what they should be doing, what they should, and we've talked about this before. When you're going to run a rookie, when you have to start a rookie quarterback, go get their college playbook and go, all right, guess what? We're going to adapt this to our offensive style and use the plays from our offensive style that will work here, that you're comfortable with, and we're going to build from there. That's how they should be building this offense out, because that's how you're going to get him more comfortable in his position. And then the Colts need to protect him, just like they need to protect Andrew Luck. So if you can give him time, he's not going to run off. But Kansas City had the same problem with Patrick Mahomes. It is a learning thing.
What I would kind of take it to where you said, not necessarily take his college playbook and adapt it, but take a look at the offense that you're running and what plays do you have that are similar to what he had in college. Because you don't want to run that old college playbook, because NFL defenses are going to like break that down in a heartbeat.
But you're looking at what pieces from that playbook.
Exactly.
The offensive style and building around that. You have to start him with what he's comfortable with. And I'm not saying that because he's a black quarterback. You should do this with anybody.
Because the playbook that you had last year with Matt Ryan is not going to be the same that you're going to run with Anthony Richardson, because Ryan is not a mobile quarterback at all. So you want those pieces in play for Anthony Richardson.
I do want to say this. He has caused a buzz with Indianapolis. When's the last time you heard the Colts being talked about like this in recent memory?
When Andrew Luck
retired.
Yeah. You hadn't heard anything else from them since this.
Except the revolving door of week 1 quarterbacks for like the last 7 years.
I mean, and out of as you said it right now in the AFC South, it's the Jags, it's the Colts, and then the Texans and the Titans are just down there just fighting for the bottom position.
Yeah, the
Titans expected with the Titans. The Titans, I fully believe that guy's drafted 2nd round will be coming off the bench at some point.
I think Willis is a project quarterback. Personally speaking, from what I've seen in the small preseason sample that we had, I don't think he's capable in running that offense. Could you give him time? Sure.
But here's the thing. I don't think Will Lutz is the guy either.
You don't think you're thinking of Malik Willis, who was taken last year.
No, I'm talking about.
I'm thinking of Will Lutz.
Yeah, Levitz. They drafted Levitz this year, and then they drafted Willis last year. I don't think either one of them is going to be the future in Tennessee.
One of them are particularly good.
I mean, but that's their issue is they don't have anyone that's really good. Tannehill's not great. Tannehill will have his issues.
Yeah.
Who did they play yesterday? I don't even know.
Saints.
My boys.
And y'all won, right?
16-15 New Orleans.
And here's the thing with Tennessee that just ticks me off. Look at that defense.
Yep.
That defense is stout. It's stout. And you mean to tell me the offense can't put up enough points to keep that defense going? Y'all remember?
In a league where this position is disappearing, you still have one of the greatest running backs.
Do y'all remember? Yep. Do y'all remember what Tampa Bay was doing? Get us 13 points.
Yeah.
We'll take care of the rest.
Well,
Same thing with the Ravens. Give us 13 points. We'll take care of the rest.
What I will say is
a defense like that.
What I will say is, yes, the defense did their job. If you can keep a team under 20 points, you should be winning games. But again, it comes back to the offense. You had 5 opportunities to score touchdowns. You kick 5 field goals. Field goals are not going to win you games in the NFL.
Well, and
not at all.
The other thing, and I think part of this is kind of what Will was talking about too. look at Tannehill's numbers: 16 for 34, so just barely. Wait, that's not even.
No, that's less than 50%.
That's less than 50%. 198 yards and 3 fucking picks. He had a quarterback rating of 28.8.
Nope. Not going to get it done. Not going to get it done.
Calm down, White Dak Prescott. Like
I've been saying for forever that Tannehill is not the guy. He wasn't the guy.
How does he still have a job?
He's terrible.
Fuck, go get Tebow at this point. Like, it's fucking, you'll get better results.
He said go get
I don't
Tebow.
get it.
I think it's because they have a
You're
different
racing the career of Derek fucking Henry.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
that's my problem with this.
And you go out and you get DeAndre Hopkins, and you still can only put 15 points on the board.
Yeah,
that tells me
some of the best hands in the NFL that can literally do things that no other man can do.
There's no answer for not being able to put the ball in the end zone. There's no answer for it.
Nope.
Kansas City needs to just trade Tennessee for D-Hop. Just bring him in and get him out of there. Maybe we can, we'll send him CEH and Jerick McKinnon for Derek.
No, keep McKinnon. Keep McKinnon.
CEH right
keep
now?
You keep McKinnon, send Pacheco?
No. You got to.
You can't keep them both. You can't keep them both. You got
to. No, you keep Pacheco and you keep McKinnon. If you got to get rid of one, get rid of Elaire.
Get
rid of Elaire.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. CEH.
Yeah.
You send over CEH and Pacheco. Okay, so CEH and Pacheco.
No, dude, you have to keep two. You can keep McKinnon and you can keep Pacheco because there are 3 running backs they have in the rotation right now from Kansas City.
Pacheco, that's right. Because there's okay.
Yeah, because there's 3 running backs that they use because McKinnon is their receiving guy out of the back.
Yep.
Edwards-Helaire is their top running option, and then Pacheco is kind of that Swiss Army knife that does everything.
Yep.
Personally, I'd rather have the Pacheco and McKinnon over CEH.
I would.
Respect to CEH. But
no respect to CEH, but CEH can't stay healthy. But I would trade CEH and maybe a second and a third or 2 seconds and see if you can get Hopkins. If that doesn't do it, maybe throw in Sky Moore.
I don't know. For Hopkins, I don't know that you need to go that high. Derrick Henry, you're starting to go that high. But the thing you have to remember with D-Hop is he's
I would pay more for D-Hop than I would Henry because Henry has a lot of tread on his tires. I would pay more for Hopkins than I would pay for Henry.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that.
All right, guys. I do want to move along. We got the Atlanta Falcons getting a win against the Carolina Panthers.
Against the North Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, the North Carolina Panthers.
Right, bitches. Just change the name, goddammit.
The North Carolina Panthers couldn't put up more than 10. But again, we're in a situation, rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Jets tied it up.
They did score a touchdown?
Sanders they just did.
Nice.
Miles Sanders played okay. But I'm thinking, oh boy, might come along in the next couple of weeks.
We're talking about Bryce Young?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So, Bryce Young.
He'll get better.
It was first game yips. First game yips for Bryce Young.
I think he'll get better.
It's kind of, you saw it with Stroud too at the beginning. He kind of settled down. But Young, he had some yips, but I think he definitely will settle in. I don't think Carolina needs to panic yet at all. Like we said, there was a lot of just not great play. It was a rusty season start for a lot of teams.
You're right, but here's the thing, and I think one of the reasons why the Panthers loss has to, I'm going to put the Panthers loss more on the defense than I am on the offense. Because Desmond Ridder was 15 of 18 for 115 yards and 1 passing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But you had Tyler Algier with 15 carries for 75 yards. Bijan Robinson, 10 carries for 56 yards. They just ran it down your throat. Desmond Ridder got to coast yesterday, and Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier ran it down Carolina's fucking throat.
And remember,
and it was an opportunity. Go ahead. Well,
I want to say, remember, if you go back and like you said, Drake London didn't do a whole lot. Pitts didn't do a heck of a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, where is he? Why? And that's the thing that I don't understand with Kyle Pitts. 2 receptions for 44 yards. That's not bad.
No.
But one of those passes was a 34-yard catch. He only had 3, but again, Desmond Ridder only completed 15 passes yesterday.
So looking at the stats, I think the thing that killed Carolina, they had two turnovers, right? It's not like their defense played horribly bad, because the Panthers were 5 of 14 on third downs. The Falcons were only 2 of 10 on third down. So they got off, the defense got off the field when they needed to. But it was the penalties that killed Carolina, because they had 9 penalties for 66 yards. And then the turnovers gave them short fields for Atlanta. So if anything, it was those 2 or 3 things that kind of put Carolina together. Again, it's the first week of the NFL. So I think Carolina, Frank Reich is a good coach. So he'll get those things fixed. Once he gets those things fixed and gets Bryce Young into a pattern, I think Carolina will be a team that has the opportunity to be scary in the NFC South, especially with as weak as they are.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's
Potential wild card reach.
I would say.
If they can get into a rhythm, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Frank, and honestly, if they didn't have the quality of a head coach that they had, I wouldn't even give them that. But I think Frank, like you said, because of who they have a head coach with Frank, and I'm going to say it's Reich. Reich.
Yeah, I remember it's Reich, because there's a YouTube personality who always says, and now look at this. Here comes Frank Reich of the Third Reich for the German army.
Okay. All right. So I was saying, okay. So Frank Reich is a great coach.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Great leadership style, great with the players. Players love him.
Yep.
So you can get something out of that, but you have to get these issues fixed quick.
Yeah.
If you're going to be competitive this year.
Yeah.
And Bryce Young got to get his feet under him. You can't have the yips for too long in the NFL. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Especially as a first overall pick.
Yeah. This isn't baseball.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on. We got the Cleveland Browns calling out the Cincinnati Bengals getting that big win, 24-3.
Oh, this game was ridiculous.
Talk about
money. Hell with you, Joe Burrow.
I'm gonna throw for
I'm
less than
talking to
100
Joe
yards,
Burrow right now. You idiot! I know you suffered an injury. Do not get me wrong. I understand that, but hell, he shouldn't have been out there in the beginning. He looked terrible.
But that whole team looked terrible.
I would have kept that whole bench.
That whole team looked terrible, but I will tell you this, because I watched that game from the first snap to the last one, and I can tell you exactly where the problem started. Cincinnati put way too much faith in Orlando Brown Jr. There is a reason why Kansas City was not sad to see him go. Orlando Brown Jr. was getting beat like he was in the elevator with Ray Rice and Chris Brown.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you watch the game? Tell me I'm fucking wrong. He was getting beat.
Would you be scared to go up against Myles Garrett?
No, stop it.
It's Myles Garrett. Go ahead, Myles. There's water right there, pal.
I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not minimizing his opponent. Myles Garrett ate that motherfucker for lunch.
And dinner. He had leftovers.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
He had leftovers.
What I'm saying is Joe Burrow was getting beat like he owed Myles Garrett money because Orlando Brown Jr. is the worst goddamn enforcer. That dude did not give him time for shit. I was surprised that he only got sacked twice, but Joe Burrow was getting beat all day long because Orlando Brown was getting beat all day
They may have
long.
only had 2 sacks. They may have only had 2 sacks, but they had
has learned how to not get sacked.
Yep.
Yeah.
They may have only had 2 sacks, but they had 10 quarterback hits, 4 coming from the new guy, Zadarius Smith, 4 from Myles Garrett. Ogbo, I'm not even going to pronounce that last name, had 1. And then Grant Delip. So Burrow
How
was
does
getting
he
hit.
pronounce that last name? Like, what the fuck? Anyway, sorry.
Delpit? Because I can sound it out. But this O-co-ro-no-co-no-wo. Yeah, no, I'm not saying it, bro.
See? You're going to have a stroke trying to get all those letters out. Like, how does he pronounce it?
I'm going to pull an Aaron Rodgers. Get me out of here. I can't do it.
Man, I really hope his ACL or his Achilles is torn.
Okay, but going back to the Bengals, right? The Bengals were 2 of 15 on third down, so they couldn't stay on the field when they needed to.
Nope.
They only ran a total of 54 plays to the 72 of the Browns had, and that means that they only had the ball for 24 minutes. You're not going to win the ball when you only run 54 plays and are on the field for less than even half of the field that you were on. They looked bad. They couldn't stay on the field. They got to get this shit fixed with as much money as they're throwing at Joe Burrow. They're not going to be able to keep Higgins next year
Right,
and
same
Chase.
player.
So they got to get this shit fixed if they
I
want to
think-
stay in
actually,
contention.
I think you'll see they keep both those boys and get rid of Tyler Boyd.
Would you?
Yeah, Tyler Boyd will go.
Okay.
I think Boyd will go.
Yeah, I think Tyler Boyd will
Mhm.
be the one they get rid of.
But no, I mean, at this point right now, they got to get that shit fixed. And with as tough as that AFC North is, I know Baltimore is very tough, and I know Pittsburgh shit the bed against San Francisco. But
We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about that one.
You can't expect Pittsburgh to stay like that. Tomlin's going to get that team in gear, and Zach Taylor needs to get the Bengals in gear. With as much as you're paying Joe Burrow,
on the other side of that ball, I got to give it to it, and this pains me to say it.
Deshaun Cosby.
Deshaun
Cosby.
Don't touch me there, Watson.
Yeah. No, he wants to be touched there. So it's Deshaun, please touch me.
Touch me there, Watson.
It's so disrespectful for you to say something like that.
It ain't disrespectful if it happened.
I gotta say though, he did look like
He's
the
coming
Deshaun
back.
of old.
Yeah.
He was quick on his feet.
Well,
he was
it
getting
really
Especially he looked a lot more comfortable in the second half as he spent once he got into rhythm in that game. You started to see flashes of old Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing to think about because a lot of people, me and myself included, have discounted Cleveland because of how Deshaun looked at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that this experiment's going to work. Cleveland's going to look like a bunch of fucking fools. Deshaun Watson's going to go back to getting hand jobs and back alleys for cash. Like, it's going to be a very bad thing for Cleveland. And now we have, if he can keep this up and even play at this level, that is at least a wild card team.
Well, I mean, they leaned on the running game that they were supposed to do. Their running game had 40 carries for 206 yards. That's an average of 5.2 carries a yard.
Nick Chubb's the man. Ford to get back up. You
keep the ball out of Deshaun's hands like that. And let's talk about the offensive line because the offensive line stuck.
Football.
Yeah, the offensive line stuck together in that game. There are plenty of times that Bengals defense put pressure on Deshaun and kept the running game in check, and they just kept at it. So the offensive line did their job.
Josie up here
Cleveland team look good.
Anyway,
I am.
And Josie up here these kids cereal. Anyway, we already talked about Jacksonville and the Colts.
Yep.
Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield gets a win against the Minnesota Vikings, 20-17. This is what I'm talking about, Kirk Cousins, man. It was a perfect setup for him to get a win, and he blew it.
Well, and what's crazy is that Kirk Cousins threw for 344 yards in that game. 33 of 44, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the pick.
Yep.
And blew it.
Baker Mayfield threw for 173 yards off of 21 passes for 34 attempts and had the 2 touchdown passes. Baker Mayfield should not have won that game.
I'm going to say it. One word. Turnovers. Turnovers killed Minnesota. Minnesota had 3 turnovers in that game. Baker Mayfield, for all the shit that he's flipped, did not turn the ball over once in that game. And that's what kept Tampa Bay in it.
And Justin Jefferson.
It's a crucial thing. And that's why teams hit so hard talking about getting rid, minimizing turnovers, preventing turnovers, causing turnovers. Because that can be the swing of the game. Because the talent pool in the NFL is so fucking ridiculous right now. That's typically what it takes to swing a game into your favor anymore, especially for the top tier competitive teams.
And let's talk about the rushing game. Minnesota, who's been known for rushing the football because they've had Dalvin Cook for so long. Dalvin leaves. They have 17 carries throughout the entire game and only average 41 yards.
I keep trying to tell people in fantasy, and no one is listening. Alexander Madison is a fraud. He is a fraud.
Yep.
And he can't hold that starting running back job down. He can't.
Nope.
He's not elusive. He's a big dude, but he's not elusive enough. And I don't think he can hold it down for too much longer. He's not.
I don't think he has enough of a sharp. I don't think he has that sharp cut you have to have as a running back for him to really be able to make a difference. Because most of the time with running backs, it's a bunch of short runs with a couple of breaks a game. That's all it is. You get maybe 2 or 3 of those in a game. And to generate those, you have to be able to have control of where your body's going to go on a dime. He does not have that control. Nope. He can. You put him in as a third down back. Marshawn Lynch-esque when you need 1 yard. You can probably get it. But anything substantial, you need to have a regular running back.
Yeah, he's a change of pace back. He's not a 3-down running back.
No,
He's a change
no,
of
he's
pace
not.
back.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
My New Orleans Saints get a win yesterday. Ugly, but I'll take it 16-15.
Can I say how
defense-
good Derek Carr looked in that game?
I
Yes,
was going to
he
ask this. I
did.
didn't watch, but I wanted to see how.
No,
I wanted.
I mean,
what you guys
granted,
thought
he
about
did.
that.
I mean, he did throw an interception, but you take that
He
interception
did,
away.
but
23 of
That
33 for 305 yards and a touchdown.
That's not bad at all.
It was that defense that played well yesterday.
Mhm.
That's what impressed me. Cam Jordan
That's-
came out playing well. That defense played well. 3 picks yesterday. I would
Michael
take
Thomas
that.
had a
And block
good game,
punt.
didn't he? Will?
And a block punt. I'll take
Yep.
that.
But again, it comes
You-
back. Tennessee should have won that game. I hate to say that, Will. But again, scoring 5 field goals of the scoring drives that Tennessee had. First quarter, their second field goal, they had an 11-play drive for 66 yards, came out with 3 points. To end the second quarter, 7 plays, 57 yards, 31-yard field goal. Fourth quarter, you had a 45-yard field goal on a 12-play drive that went 48 yards. And then the final score of the game was a 29-yard field goal with a 9-play drive that went 62. You take even one of those and turn it into a touchdown, and we're talking different about New Orleans versus Tennessee.
But the thing about it, though, and I think we talked about Tennessee a little bit earlier. I think one of the things too with Tennessee is bad quarterback play. But
Yep.
I also look at bad play calling.
Yep.
I'll look at that too. And I just, as tough as
Who's
they
their
play,
head coach now?
Tennessee still has Mike Vrabel.
but
It's still-
That's
still-
what I thought.
Mhm.
And then I think truly he's not the guy. He's not the guy who's going to lead this.
Hey, wait, who's been saying that for a fucking year and a half?
You
Just as a
have.
quick
You
question.
have-
You
Who,
have
who's been on this fucking show calling that calling that shit
not
out?
me. I've only been on the show for like 3 weeks.
And y'all were sitting there like, oh no, Mike Vrabel's great. He's got a great mind. I said, no.
no.
I don't
No.
think I said that. I don't talk
Yes,
shit about.
you have defended him like you wanted to get laid.
Block it. You did not block it.
Don't even play with me.
So disrespectful.
I think the Jets just kicked the field goal.
But anyway,
Yep. 16
Yeah,
to
the
13.
Jets just
That's
kicked
a
the
wrap.
field goal
Zach
there up
Wilson might get a
16-13.
win.
but my thing, I would love to see Derrick Henry in the Super Bowl, and I hope I get to see that at some point. That would be awesome to see. All right, let's
Tell
move
Brett
on.
needs to trade for him. He can go with the Chiefs.
I don't want to see Derrick Henry on the Chiefs, man. I'm sorry.
All right, let's move on over to the San Francisco 49ers getting a win, 30-7. Josie's boy,
Oh my
Josie's
God.
boy, Brock Purdy gets a big win and plays well.
He played well. McCaffrey looked like woo.
Brandon
Man.
Ayuk just dominated. He just
Ayuk looked
dominated.
great.
Here's
That game.
Before the final drive,
Go ahead,
that
Tim.
Pittsburgh had their only touchdown, the Steelers had negative 14 yards of total offense going into that final drive. I don't necessarily think it was San Francisco's defense kept Pittsburgh out of that game. You could
I
have put
do
up
wanna say
10
something.
points.
I do want to have a rant about this because my thing with some of those Pittsburgh, particularly the receiver spot, I think George Pickens is overrated. If he's not making a pretty pass or a pretty catch, what is he doing for you? Nothing.
Are we talking
Deontay-
about Pickens or are we talking about Pickett?
No, Pickens.
Pickens.
George Pickens.
Okay,
Pickens,
the
George
wide
Pickens.
receiver.
Yeah, the receiver. Yeah.
If he's not making a pretty catch, what is he doing for you? Nothing.
He's
Deontay Johnson
Mm.
ain't scored a touchdown since season before last. Come on, you got to get better. I thought
Yeah,
48.
and I kind of agree with this because I don't put all this on Kenny Pickett. Like I just don't feel like he didn't have the targets. His O line was terrible.
Dude, that
And then-
offensive line in Pittsburgh was atrocious.
and
They-
yeah,
It looked almost
It's-
as bad as New York and Dallas levels of bad. With
damn.
as much as, especially in that first half, they had a ticker show up
Mhm.
before Pittsburgh got that final drive going, where San Francisco had 199 yards of offense. Pittsburgh had one,
Damn.
a single yard
Yep.
of total
And-
offense.
As much as I make jokes about Tiny Hands Pickett,
You mean
like it really,
Kenny Kitten Mittens Pickens?
yes, this is not all on him because it's hard to it's hard to get your offense into a rhythm when the defense can't stop anything, so you don't have time to sit on the side of the field, make adjustments, take your time, work your way down the field to work your way back into a game.
True.
And
But the only argument that I will make with that is Matt Canada is such a poor offensive coordinator. He should have been making changes to the offense after that first 3 and out, and then should have been making more changes after Pickens threw the interception.
they did, and you're right, they did not adjust that whole game, because I went back and I watched that one on the sped up replay where you can watch
it's just
Tomlin has to get his staff under control, because that did not look like a Mike Tomlin coach team.
No, it did not.
No,
Absolutely not.
Not at all.
And then the fact that Cameron,
it's not a team that's going to keep his 500 record.
And then on top of that, Cameron Hayward is going to be out for like the next 3 to 4 weeks with that groin injury that he suffered.
That don't help.
This is not going to be the same. This is not the.
Now I did see. I thought Pat would have a better game for Pittsburgh. Pat Frymouth, I thought he would have.
He did catch the touchdown. He did catch the touchdown.
He catch that one touchdown, but he wasn't a difference maker.
No,
I thought
that was the only pass he caught in the game off of 4 targets.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he would be more of a difference than what he was. I thought this was going to be a closer game, more of a defensive battle.
To
you
be
also
fair,
only had. Go ahead. I was going to say that I think one of the things that would help Pittsburgh, especially utilizing a guy like Kenny Pickett, you got to rely more on that ground game. And when you only give Najee Harris 6 carries through an entire fucking game, I'm sorry, but that's a problem.
Yeah,
Najee Harris should have been feeding him the ball.
And don't forget too, you got Jalen Warren behind him, so you have a change of pace back right there, ready to get passes at the backfield.
They have plenty of talent on the ground. That should not have been an error.
But the problem is when you're
not going to beat Kyle Shanahan through the air. It's not going to happen.
But when the problem is when you're down 14, 17 to nothing, and your offense has 4 or 5 yards, you're going to go one-dimensional through the air. So I can understand.
That's where Pittsburgh's defense has to come back in. They have to fucking get stops.
No, and they just didn't. They couldn't get off the field last night. Or they couldn't get off the field yesterday afternoon.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and go on, Zach Wilson. Do your thing. All right, let's go ahead and move on over to a game I didn't really want to talk about because I sort of kind of had one of these guys in fantasy. The Commanders defeat the Arizona Cardinals 20-16.
Sorry, my MVP goes to the referee who was hit on the sideline, lays down, sits up, and throws the flag like the Undertaker. That was my MVP of the game. We can skip everything else.
How have I
skip everything else?
I saw that clip and I laughed hysterically. It was fucking good.
That's all I want to talk about. Well, that's it. I want that ref at every single game, and I want one Undertaker kip up every game. That's it. Next game.
But I was kind of disappointed in this game a little bit. Particularly, we're gonna start talking more about on this show. We're gonna start talking more about fantasy football as the season progresses. But one of the things that made me mad was Sam Howell. I thought he was going to be able to do something with a team that had Eric Bieniemy, Josh Dotson, who was coming up from the ranks as a very good receiver. I thought they were going to be, and Terry McLaurin, I thought they were going to be able to get it done. And yes, they won the game, but it was very underwhelming. And I think Howell was the reason why.
I mean, he was over 50%. He was 19 for 31, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Part of the problem is that Sam Howell faced yesterday was he got sacked 6 times for almost 50 yards.
Yeah.
That's very difficult, especially for a young quarterback to deal with. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. You did have Brian Robinson Jr. go 19 carries for 60 yards. You got to get more out of him. Sam Howell did have a couple of runs for, 5 apiece. Yeah. It was a 6 and a 5. So, I mean, you're getting a little bit there. But Curtis Samuel was only targeted 5 times. Curtis Samuel was only targeted 5 times. But he made all 5 catches, 54 yards. Logan Thomas caught 4 of the 8 balls that he was thrown. Jahan Dotson caught 5 of the 7 balls that he was thrown. So, he only had 40 yards. But it's some of that is going to come from getting into sync because Eric Bieniemy is still learning how to run his own offense. He ran Andy Reid's offense.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he did get the opportunity to call plays and he had input on everything that went on, but Andy Reid ran that offense.
Yes.
So what you have is he has to learn how to do all of those things now that he didn't do before. And so it's going to take some time. Do I think Washington's going to make a bunch of noise this year? No. But do I think that by the end of the year, this offense looks light years ahead of what it does right now? Absolutely, because Eric Bieniemy will make any player better. So Sam Howell will be dropping dimes by the end of the season. You're going to have a few weeks of growth while Eric Bieniemy learns the constraints of what his players can do.
What I heard coming out of that Washington camp, especially the first couple of weeks at training camp, Washington was not behind Bieniemy. What's that?
Yep.
What was that, Josie?
13-16.
Nice. Yeah, Jets
New
are up
York
13-16.
I don't have the game on because they're watching it in the main living room. But no, what I was going to say was I heard reports coming out of Washington that over the first couple of weeks, the players didn't want to get behind Bieniemy because he played at a different level that Washington, A, was not accustomed to, and B, anybody who had been in that Washington organization didn't want to put in the effort and didn't want to put in the energy to play it. So Bieniemy had to change the culture of that locker room from the start. And if culture is anything to change, it could be the hardest because there's so many players who are like, hey, man, I'm playing for Dan Snyder. I got a paycheck. I don't need to put in the effort anymore. Bieniemy's not going to stand for that. So Bieniemy needs to change the culture of the team, and that's a slow building process. So I think over the course of the year, you'll see Washington change how they play, and this is the first step. They in my opinion, frankly, they beat a really bad Cardinals team, but they did turn the ball over twice. Howell did get sacked six times. So there's something that the Cardinals have that they can build on, hopefully to get Caleb Williams, or if they can get Kyler Murray back, maybe build something on that going for the next couple of years. But Washington is a culture thing, and I think with Bieniemy and Rivera and the way that they are, I think you'll see those change through the course of the year.
I want to skip because we're starting to run low. I want to skip over to the Dallas New York Giants game.
Oh my God.
I want Seven's opinion. Seven.
You really got to talk about this.
So the Dallas Cowboys legitimately beat White Michael Vick and the New York Giants. So I will start by saying that. But I'm going to expand on that sentence a little bit more each time I dive into this game. The New York Giants defense and special teams, the Dallas Cowboys defense and special teams beat the New York Giants. Dak Prescott did not beat the New York Giants.
No, It was that defense and
here's the thing. This is going to be the story with the Cowboys all year. If they win a game, it was a defensive win. It is not an offensive win. That team has the offense of a team that gets slapped together in Madden because they need an extra team.
Yeah,
like that's a team that the last team to pick in the fantasy draft.
78.
You stupid.
Dak Prescott looked absolutely.
What happened?
Off the upright and in.
Tied game?
Oh, son of a bitch! They just tied it. Yep.
Yep. I guess it just hit the crossbar or hit the upright.
Yep, but it's in.
Man, this turned out to be a great game. However, I do want to say Allen has thrown 2 interceptions.
3. He has 3 interceptions.
3. Yeah, he has 3. Here's the thing. And I'm going to say this. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be offended. But I started saying it last year. Josh Allen is not the guy. Josh Allen is fucking
I was saying this a couple of weeks ago, Seven, and you weren't here to back me up.
I want to say this before we go off topic.
Did I not say this dude with all those picks?
This dude wins in Kansas City last year thanks to an uncharacteristic red zone pick that Mahomes threw.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to lead the league the rest of the year in red zone turnovers.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, I guarantee you, all 3 of those picks were fucking sloppy throws from Josh Allen, thinking he can do more than he's able to do.
Yeah.
And shout out to Josie because Josie's been saying it the whole time. When Brian Dable left,
yep,
That's when you start seeing the issues with Josh Allen.
Dable can make an okay quarterback look good. I mean, I know you didn't see it yesterday.
He sure made Daniel Jones look good last night for
say-
the Dallas offense.
Brian Dable created White Michael Vick. Let's not forget that.
I want to go back to the Giants and Cowboys real quick.
That's a great fantasy team name. I'm gonna have to use that. Why am I going?
I get that Daniel Jones wanted to stay in the game, and because you don't want to be the face of the guy that's like, "Hey, we're down 30-0, I quit." Put in the backups. But you're paying Daniel Jones $46 million fucking dollars a year, and you're going to keep him in a sloppy, wet, no contest game. If I'm Dable, I'm taking my $46 million quarterback out of that game to start the second.
Absolutely.
You know what else is egregious about this whole thing with Daniel Jones? Look who he has to throw the football to. A bunch of nobodies. That's
why you should have paid Saquon. I will say this all season. They should have paid Saquon. They should have put Daniel on the franchise tag. It should have been that way because Saquon, bless his injuries, because I know he can't stay healthy, but Saquon is worth so much more to that Giants offense than Daniel Jones is. I bet if you put Tyrod Taylor in next week against Arizona, because I think they play Arizona and then they go to San Francisco in week 3, I bet Tyrod Taylor plays a better game than Daniel Jones.
Tyrod Taylor will play a great game as long as he doesn't have to deal with the Chargers medical staff.
I found it. It's almost comical how bad the Giants played last night. Comically bad.
No, you're right. It's 100% correct.
So check this out. I heard this today on a TikToker that I follow. 40-0 loss. Plus 7 sacks or more in a game. Plus 3 interceptions or more in a game. Plus a blocked field goal for a touchdown and a pick 6 of more than 40 yards. Never happened in the same game, yet alone the same year. And the Giants did it all in one game.
And the thing that kills me, your boy had him. Well, I had the 49ers and the Cowboys. Didn't start the Cowboys on that particular team. 55 fantasy points for the Cowboys. I still won my game, but I left 55 points on
it's what's crazy to me. So with the Giants, I will say I am going to slightly, I get what you're saying about as paying Saquon Barkley to a point. But the truth of the matter is you're going to have, in theory, if you're trying to make Daniel Jones your guy, and you believe after what Dable did with him last year, you can utilize him.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley is already 26.
Yeah.
True.
He's that's for a running back. You're coming up on middle age right there.
Yep.
Realistically, and I'm not trying to sound like Jim Irsay. I'm just saying that this is how the league looks at it. Yes, I don't do near enough cocaine to be Jim Irsay.
Yeah.
But anyway, but here's the thing. If you really think as an organization that Daniel Jones is your guy, you have to pay him before you pay your running back. But
it wouldn't be me. Tell you that.
I would not pay.
I still would have paid Saquon over Daniel Jones. Because as amazing as Daniel Jones looked last year, Saquon Barkley is here and now. Daniel Jones hasn't earned that contract that he got yet.
Not at all.
He hasn't.
No.
I appreciate what he did last year, and he did make a huge leap of improvement last season.
Again, but a lot of that was
he did not earn that big contract. He hasn't.
No. And Saquon, and can we say Saquon is a generational talent?
I will agree with that.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this too. I want to say this too. Dayball won Coach of the Year for how good he was able to make Daniel Jones look.
Absolutely. No, and that's exactly why you're right. That's exactly why Brian Daboll won Coach of the Year last year, was because
it should have been Dougie
180. Yeah, absolutely.
Or Doug Peterson.
It should have been Doug Peterson, but Brian Daboll, because of what he did with White Michael Vick. And so now you've got to eat it. You've got to keep working with Daniel Jones, and you got to see if you can find the money to pay Saquon. But I mean, ultimately, paying Saquon wouldn't have got him anything because Saquon still only had 51 yards yesterday.
True.
And Daniel Jones ran for another 43.
I'm not gonna blame.
Like-
I'm not gonna blame that on Saquon though, because if you're down 16, 19, 26 to nothing,
Yeah,
you're gonna go,
you're
oh
not
hey,
gonna
we
get
got
the
to put
ball.
points on
You're
the board, and
abandoning
we
the
got to
running game.
we
We
got to
gotta
get
get back in
the running
overthrowing.
game didn't exist
Yeah.
last night, and you can pass the
true.
ball to Saquon, but if Saquon is not getting the ball where he wants to get the ball, so let's say he's running it out, and Daniel, oh God, I got pressure coming. Here you go, it's right there. Saquon's not going to have the time or the ability to turn up the field. Hell, there was a play he got hit and fumbled the football before he really got his feet out from under him. So, man, I just
Your best
It's-
receiver on that Giants team is Darren Waller. You paid that man all that money, and he did absolutely nothing for you yesterday.
no.
Not a
Nothing.
goddamn thing.
Well, and
And-
over the
Nothing.
last 3 years, Daniel Jones played 14 games in 2020, played 11 games in 2021, played 16 games in 2022. The guy threw 11 touchdowns in 2020, threw 10 touchdowns in 2021, threw 15 touchdowns in 2022. It means he is averaging less than one
Hell, them
touchdown
backup
a
numbers.
game a
Them
year.
backup numbers.
Yeah.
Those are backup QB numbers.
Because that's all that Daniel Jones should
All he
be.
is.
I just
Those are
That
backup
is-
QB
But
I
numbers.
get
You
that.
don't want.
So, but okay, but here's the question. So if you guys are right, because I agree with you, I think he's better slated to be a backup quarterback. Who do you go out and get right now that can run your offense? Who actually has the talent to competently start right now that is not in a starting role in the NFL?
Where's the flag?
What are you going to do? Trade for Davis Mills?
Not
I mean, that's what are you going to do? Tell
Not
Arizona,
on your
hey,
neck.
if Kyler Murray comes back this
Not
season,
on your
you
neck.
got Josh
Your
Dobbs?
best neck, seven.
Yeah,
Not on your best
no.
neck. No.
Go to
not
trade
on
it
your
for Trey
best
Lance.
neck.
You might have had the same results.
Trey
Yeah.
Lance isn't ready to start either. That's why Dallas was able to get him.
I just
Trey Lance isn't ready to start.
seven.
And
I'm
that's-
gonna
You can.
And that's where it comes down to. What
Seven.
choice do the
I bet
Giants
you
have
they
right
do
now?
better. I bet you they do better with Teddy Bridgewater.
here's where again 7.
I would take Tyrod Taylor over him.
I'm
would
gonna
too.
respect you.
Yeah. Tyrod.
I'm going to
yeah.
respect you when I say this, 7. Yes, the quarterback is the position that you want for the future. And yes, while
Right.
Saquon Barkley's 26, he's hitting that middle age. You can't tell me that the Giants organization looked at the situation honestly and could have been like, all right, Daniel, we want you for 4 years. Let's cut it in half. We'll put you for 2. Barkley, you want a 5-year deal. Instead of giving you the 5, we'll give you the 3. We'll sign you both. That leaves money on the table for us to go find a dependable
Something just
number 1.
happened.
But again, it's the Giants organization, right? By putting all of that money
I think
into
the Jets
Jones,
just won it.
by putting all that money on Jones, you're saying, hey, Jones, you're the future of the team. You haven't put up the stats, but we're going to pay you to be the future of the team. And when you have a performance like this, and over the last 3
Yep.
years, you have not been able to put the numbers up. That's why and again, this is being a fan with no real football knowledge. So this is all coming from a fan watching the game. By putting that faith into Daniel Jones, it tells the fan base, I'm okay with mediocrity. That's our future right there, guys.
They
And
should.
And that's the thing that kills me, because it shouldn't be like that.
No,
it should be about
you
finding
mentioned- no,
excellence.
you
It shouldn't be about
mentioned it.
mediocrity.
It would be like if the Texans, after the year that Davis the Neck Mills had last year,
Giraffe,
went out
David the
walking-
Giraffe Mills.
No, he's Mechaneck on this show.
That's Mechaneck.
Neck and neck is what he was
That's
calling.
Mechaneck
I like
from
Davis
He-Man.
Mills. I like
That's
Davis
Mechaneck
Mills.
from He-Man. Mechaneck.
But
But
if they went out and signed him to a $150 million contract, it's comparative. It's comparative.
now,
All right,
I'm
let's
sorry,
move
guys, I can't see the
because I'm
camera. My
about
neck
to
is
have to
too
jump
big.
off here.
now I do want to. Now this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do one more game. Real quick, Monday night game. I'm gonna go ahead and get it.
Baseball
out the way.
is really quick. Baseball will be quick. We're fine on time. Trust me.
It
We're
looks.
fine.
It looks like the Jets are about to beat. Well, actually,
They
They
did.
just
Oh,
did.
they
Yep.
did.
Touchdown by
Yeah,
the
it's over.
Jets.
Jets won it.
they're in overtime. All right, so
Holy
the Jets beat the
shit.
Buffalo Bills. Damn,
22-16.
man, Josh
Man.
A
Allen, man.
punt return
I
is
do-
what made it happen.
Yeah,
I do
Yep.
want to talk.
I
I do
just
want
heard
to talk
it.
about real quick while Josie's
60
here.
yards.
I do want to talk
Oh.
about one more game. And we'll let the rest. We'll let the rest fly. Miami beat the LA Chargers 36-34. Tua looked great He
Yeah.
looked
He did.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Miami is going to be dangerous if Tua stays healthy.
Yep.
Dangerous.
We said it last year too, because they were stacked last year too.
Yeah.
If Tua had stayed healthy, that team goes deep into the postseason.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Tua come up with 3 touchdowns, 1
thing.
interception, 466 yards passing.
Yep.
Over on the Charger side, we had Justin Herbert leading the way, 228 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. So both quarterbacks played great.
I love Herbert. I do. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I'm beginning to wonder if the Chargers are going to be the team for him to have success with.
Well, they got the receiving plays and they changed their offensive. I mean, it came down to that final drive. I mean, it's what it really came down to. It. So,
real quick, the Green Bay Packers defeat the Chicago Bears 38-20. The Raiders defeat the Denver Broncos 17-16. Wow.
Justin Love is the Bears' new daddy.
Yep.
Even though y'all know, neither one of y'all knew he was black.
Hey, I know his name.
That's a damn shame.
I would have said off-white.
I saw he's a light-skinned black guy, but yeah. I follow a comic that's an albino black guy, and that dude's interesting.
I'm not gonna lie. For the longest time I thought Patrick Mahomes was just really tan. I didn't think he was black until I saw his dad, and it's like
you were like, oh damn,
he's black. Shit, brother's
black. Yes, he's black. Yeah,
black. I just thought the dude had a really good Stallone who just got really tan before game day. That's not bad.
No.
Patrick, if you decide to watch this,
Patrick his props though, because his wife is gorgeous. I'll give him.
No, Patrick's mom is just really white.
But Patrick's wife is just gorgeous.
Have you seen? So, do you watch?
You can talk about how gorgeous she is. She's still annoying as fuck.
Oh yeah, she is. She is.
Do you watch New Heights at all, Will?
Huh?
Well, love New Heights.
That podcast this week with Jason Kelsey's wife.
Yes,
fucking
amazing.
Good. I did not see it. I'm gonna have to check that out.
You have to,
so good.
You have to watch it. Second off, Jason Kelsey's wife is like that line between like girl next door gorgeous and like oh my god gorgeous. Like she came on the podcast and I'm like,
really?
You also know she's thick. She's thick.
I'm gonna have to check her out for real.
She's a professional soccer player, isn't she?
Lacrosse.
No, that's JJ Watt's wife.
No, that's Zach Ertz's wife. Zach Ertz's wife is the soccer player that just retired.
So is JJ Watt's wife.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, JJ Watt's wife is. Yeah, I know JJ Watt's wife, but yeah, she's got that athletic build chick, but she's. Jason Kelsey is a lucky man.
I'm gonna have to check that out. All right, let's go real quick. One more score. We got the 2 more scores. We got the Rams defeating the Seahawks 30-13. Geno Smith looked like trash.
That's a surprise.
And the Philadelphia Eagles defeat the New England Patriots 25-20 on the road.
That's a surprise too.
Future NFC champions.
I don't know, man. Between Dallas, the way that they played in San Francisco, Philly isn't going to have the same run to that NFC Championship game that they did.
Here's my problem.
I never put faith in Dallas. Dallas will find a way to choke it up.
Okay, so take Dallas out.
The way to make it.
Do you really think that Philadelphia is better than Pittsburgh with how they play?
Yes.
I think
Philadelphia is better than every team in the NFC. Period.
Whoa.
I'm not putting them above the 49ers yet. I can't. I'm sorry.
I'm not disrespecting the 49ers.
That's the only team.
You better put some respect on Big Cock Brock's name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will give you that 7. But that's literally the only team in the NFC that gives me any worry for Philly.
Josie, here's how I'm going to put it. Right, going into the season, I thought Pittsburgh was a better team than New England, and I thought San Francisco and Philadelphia were about on the same level. Right, Pittsburgh barely showed up against San Francisco. New England took it to Philadelphia. That is the reason that I'm saying that San Francisco is a slightly better team than Pittsburgh. They do play later this year, and that's going to be a nice game to see. I think statistically and just how a team is built, San Francisco did not lose any of their coordinators. Philadelphia lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators. They lost them both. So
and it's and you're right, and that could provide just enough of a swing. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that we have to remember is on the other side of the ball, Kyle Shanahan chokes games with the best of them almost
does.
like he's doing a tribute to the Dallas Cowboys.
Mhm.
And as Chiefs fans, we've benefited from Kyle Shanahan choking late in games. Super
Yep.
Bowl against 49ers. Like it's
Yeah.
and
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move into our baseball real quick, and then we'll finish up the show. 7, go ahead, man.
really the big thing in baseball, the Angels came out and said that if Mike Trout asked to be traded, they would find a deal
Mike
for him.
Trout should have been in that goddamn office that same day.
Well, I mean, you can't do anything until the offseason anyway. At
Yeah.
this point, but Mike Trout should just walk in, set a list of teams in the order of preference on the desk,
Make it
and walk
happen.
out.
I
Like,
agree.
You have already ruined the career of Shohei Ohtani,
Yep.
and you have already wasted most of the career of Mike Trout. Let him have a chance at a goddamn World Series ring. It's not that fucking complicated. It's just not. I have a lot of respect for Mike Trout, amazing player. It's absolutely amazing, but at the same time, that dude needs to be able to get to an organization that's going to put the pieces around him to get him an actual shot at a ring. And I was talking with a friend of mine about this, and I have two teams. One is obvious. The other
No
will
one
shock
wants to
you.
see him in Boston.
I was going to say
That's where
nobody
I
wants to
would.
I know I
That's
don't.
fucking Fox, because I would love to see him in Boston. So you can fuck off. The other one though is I think actually, and what's crazy is I think this actually has more potential. Is I think that if there was a National League team that was really going to make a push for Mike Trout, it
Braves?
should be the Braves.
I was going to say Braves.
I could see
It
that.
should- it absolutely should be the
After
Braves.
season, they're going to be coming off.
So you think the rich should get richer?
And here's the thing. Here's why I think that the Braves should do this, because when you dive deeper into this situation, the Braves can actually benefit from this short term and long term, because when you look at the Braves roster, because you're not leaving Mike Trout where he's at. You're putting Mike Trout in left field when he goes to the Braves. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you move him to left field, you're going to trade Eddie Rosario to put some weight back into your farm system.
Ooh.
You don't keep you're not keeping Eddie Rosario because you don't need to. Plain and simple. You don't need to, and you can get him into a spot where he can still be competitive and on a decent roster. This is where Boston would come in and grab something like him, because you're going to get Eddie Rosario for a cheaper return than you will Mike Trout. So that is honestly where I think it could happen. Is Eddie Rosario ends up in Boston, and Mike Trout ends up in Atlanta, and that's where he gets the chance to get his ring.
And it's not like Atlanta isn't going to be competitive for the next couple of years anyway, unless injuries.
Exactly, and that's why you can send back Eddie Rosario.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can as you know, in a result, get rid of Eddie Rosario and refill the prospects that you're going to have to send to LA to get my Trout, because you're going to have to send it. There's going to be a couple of top five prospects that go to LA, which they're going to be especially greedy about now that they've gotten rid of Giolito, who they just traded two top prospects for a month ago, and then they put him on the fucking waiver wire.
And if LA loses Ohtani, you're going to need somebody else to bring into town. So
LA is losing Ohtani.
Yeah,
LA is losing Ohtani. That's going to happen.
Yeah, so you want another star-studded name to come back and replace that.
So I think that the ultimate thing is anything can happen. It's baseball. It's going to be the MLB offseason. Anything can happen, especially with the distraction of Shohei going on. Somebody will move in and make a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
But because you can't lose Mike Trout and Shohei for nothing, you're already going to lose Shohei for nothing because you were too fucking stupid to do it when you had a better opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Angels. So you have to move smart on Mike Trout and get prospects and some up. But also, if you can still also in that get more prospects out of Rosario going to Boston,
Yeah.
You make it a
And it's not like
trade.
It's not like Trout isn't a big name. Trout can still put butts in seats. So take advantage of it while you can.
It's you get more draw out of Trout than you do. I would easily argue you're going to get more draw out of Mike Trout than you will Eddie Rosario.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, and because of how much Atlanta is built up their team, they're not hurting for ticket sales anyway.
Mm-mm.
But you're just going to see a big jump in ticket sales. You're going to see another big jump in merch sales because people are going to buy Mike Trout jerseys like you can fucking believe.
Oh yeah,
those are going to be a hot sell. So
and then you can get one.
I don't know. I'm been getting a few jerseys this year. I'm still thinking hard about an Aiden Hutchinson jersey because that kid just blew me away. But it's back on topic here. The big thing is Mike Trout's going to go somewhere. That will be the biggest trade of the offseason, I think, unless something else crazy happens. Because I can't think of anything else at this point.
All right, you guys. That's going to do it for us. Yes, go ahead, Josie.
Before you close out, I just real quick on Fight Night, I have to mention this. It is the end of history tonight. As of tomorrow, Vince McMahon will not run or have total control over WWE.
Any control because he's going to be doing different stuff. So he's
still a 49% holder. Still a 49% holder. He just does not have
day-to-day control.
Yeah, and as of tonight, as of close of bell today, come tomorrow, they will no longer be a publicly traded company. This is history in the wrestling industry, history.
Well, because the new company that's going to get traded
part of the merger. They're going private.
No, the new company that's going to get traded is the company that's over UFC and WWE. Yes, I read an article with it today. That's happening. Really?
Well, WWE itself will no longer be a publicly traded company.
Individually, right. And it's not UFC individually, WWE individually, not. The holding company that will own both of them as of tomorrow is who's going to be traded, TKO.
Yeah.
And so, Vince supposedly is going to be involved in more things. But however, with what happened on Raw tonight, Vince still got his fingers all up in that shit. Fucking Nia Jax returning. What the fuck? We'll talk about that.
Isn't that a good thing? I was to say, doesn't Will love Nia Jax?
Ain't that a good thing that she back? No, I've never loved Nia Jax. No, she hurts people, man. She hurts people. I've never
hurt several female wrestlers.
Can I just say that while we're talking about people screaming about getting hurt, how about that scene where Geno Smith yelled out, "Oh my God," when Aaron Donald came through the line?
Oh my God, that was great.
Good God,
hey,
man. I'm gonna start using that as my.
I was laughing hysterically.
I'm gonna put that as my new ringtone. Oh my God.
And real quick, while you're talking wrestling, shout out to my girl Jay for coming back on Collision.
Hell yeah.
I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. She looked good. Josie,
Jade is my hall pass, by the way.
I've said this all the time. She need to leave that damn TBS title alone.
I'm hoping. I don't know if they're going to push for a rematch. She doesn't need to win it. She needs to be in the world title picture.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, she don't need to win that thing. She need to be in the world title. She's outgrown the TBS title. She no longer needs it.
Nope.
We'll talk about that more tomorrow night.
Yes.
Sure.
All right, everybody. Unless someone has something else they want to get off their chest, I'll say thank you for everybody coming through in the chat. I'll say thank you everybody coming through on social media. To everyone here on the panel, thank you for coming to the Sports Report podcast. We'll see you guys again next week. Have a great week and take care. See y'all.